19 years old, and the Leader Quest environmental researcher, Leaders Quest surgeon, what they want to do, what these girls are dreaming to do, and they're all teaching them about money and investments and unit trusts and all of that in whatever they want to do. And I think it's a great way to give back. And Funeka Beja will join us in a few minutes as soon as we can find her. But, you know, I mentioned how Kimi Scotta had won the Mbogodo Award. Those Mbogodo Awards apparently are coming back again on the 29th of this month, 29th of August. We'll tell you all about it. We'll find somebody to interview on those awards because they awards for women in the arts. But right now, let's welcome Funeka Beja, who is an investment analyst at Management. Funeka, hello.
Hi, Shadow. How are you?
Well, thank you for talking to us. Tell us about your way of giving back at Argon Asset Management.
Well, we're hosting an event today for a bunch of young girls. We're calling it Celebrating Ordinary Women in an Extraordinary Way. And it really is to interact with young girls from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, for them to get the opportunity to interact with professional women whom they can emulate. So, you know, we've carefully selected, obviously, industry professionals, people who have made something of themselves, but also black women in particular, people that they can become, so that it's not a concept that's removed from them.
Funeka, you're an investment analyst, and that's not usually top of mind for any young girl to dream about becoming.
No.
What do you think it needs to be done more to attract? And I like the way that you were explaining to these young people about your work, but what do you think needs to be done? Because I think more children should be exposed to the kind of thing you're doing this morning.
No, it's exactly right. And this is why what we're doing is we know when we were growing up, we didn't have the kind of exposure. I mean, I grew up not even knowing that this job existed until I ended up in the middle of varsity, and probably later on in my varsity years to discover that this career actually exists. And I think it is about establishing more fora of this nature to be able to get the exposure. Children just don't know what careers are out there. You know, as much as it's 2013, there's a lot of children who still just want to be doctors and lawyers. And I think it's not a matter of, ambition, but rather a matter of exposure.
But the whole concept of an investment analyst, I mean, is quite mind-boggling, because people have a problem with dealing with just money and the concept of money and saving. Now, when you start talking about investment analysts and you start talking about the stock exchange, I mean, it gets so complex. And I believe that's why, we don't have as much wealth as we ought to have in South Africa.
That's actually true. And I think, it's funny because, you launch into a speech and I started presenting to them, and you think there's a certain perceived level of knowledge in your crowd. But the bottom line is, we don't actually know more than a bank account or a policy. We don't have a wide spectrum of investment products that people, from our backgrounds have been exposed to. They're not entirely sure what you would do outside of a policy or a savings product at your bank. And I think it's just about having that grassroots conversation. What is interest? What are dividends? And having that kind of open communication channel, so that even if you don't become an investment analyst, heavens, open up a unit trust account.
Yes.
And I think that's what it's all about. We just need to think we do enough. The little that people know, we take our money and run, and we don't spend enough time just sitting and talking and giving back the way that, some people might have given us a leg up on our way.
But tell me, is it just girls who don't know much about this, or are there more men who understand it better even from a younger age?
I think it's pretty widespread. I mean, you'd find that boys are a little bit more adventurous with that kind of stuff, so they, want to make money and this, that, and the other. So they probably tend to ask a little bit more. But I think young black people of color would know far less than anybody else in any case, whether you're a girl or a boy. I mean, I think it's just because it's Women's Day today that we thought to focus it on a young woman. And as our MD Motobi Tusedi says, you teach. What's the old adage? you teach a woman, you teach a nation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we thought, what a fantastic way to launch our, corporate social investment than to do it on Women's Day for young.
Well, it's a fantastic thing to do. What happens though after today, Funeka? Do you give them? I mean, I'm sure they're enjoying today, but what happens tomorrow? They forget that they came and go back into their lives. How do we make sure that it stays with them?
Yes, and I think that's very true. So, we are giving them a memento. They will be getting a book from Ovangile Makwakwa, who is an author, and she'll be presenting. So there is at least some sort of memento, and it's, it's to do it with emotional intelligence, and there's something to keep. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it's to continue the conversations, not only with these children, but with many others. So, we've spoken to them and said, look, this is the beginning of a long relationship. We don't want to have a once-off event and never see you guys again. We feel that you are now part of Argon. There's a part of Argon inside of you, and you guys are part of our organization. We want to see where you're going to end up next year, in 5 years' time. We want to have the forum should grow, and it should grow from a small event of this nature. It should never be a one-off.
I think so, but you must also, I want you to promise that you will also make it your business to engage with as many young people as possible at different spaces. It could be kids visiting your home or interacting at some other event. But I think you have the responsibility, and each one of us has, to be that pest, and drag young girls and ask what they're doing, what they're interested in, how much they know about you and your work,
Sure.
In just a conversation. It could be in a train, in a bus. We don't use trains and buses much anymore, but I think that's where the conversations need to continue happening.
I think that's definitely true. I think the people within our organization who came up with the concept, it really comes from the kind of people who've been looking for a forum, a formalized forum, but in any case have already been having these conversations quietly, and informally on the side. So it's just a continuation of exactly saying. I think it's up to absolutely everybody to continue to have those conversations.
Tell us about Argon a bit. I mean, we just jumped into the women and the girls that you. Tell us about Argon. What do they do?
Yes, of course. So we're an investment management firm. We manage about 13 billion assets under management, primarily in pension funds. And basically, the organization's been running for about 8 years. It's black-owned and black-managed. So our MD, as I said, is Ms. Motobi Sisedi, and they founded the company about 8 years ago. And we invest in a range of products. We've got a multi-asset class product. We've got an equities-only product, and we also have a fixed income product. So it's investment professionals, largely, what you term a BEE company.
Okay.
And we're fighting the likes of the Alan Grays and the Coronations.
Well, fantastic. Well, we wish you all the best luck for today with those young people.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
It's a job well done. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Funeka Beja, who's an investment analyst at Argon Asset Management. Amazing, amazing, amazing. It's now time for our children's program.
Lend us your ears like sweet little dears. It's time for a story with Nali Bali. This is a story about a little pig who wants to fly.